Good morning, Barry Bryson here. Thank you for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word. We're going to finish up Colossians chapter 2 today, and he's continuing and intensifying the point he made last time we were together, that these false teachers, these Christians in their midst who have imported into their Christian practice things that are not involved in the simple gospel. Um, Asceticism, the worship of angels, the pursuit of visions. All of these things are human additions, and they don't help at all. We just need to follow Jesus, know Jesus, and follow Jesus. He's the head, and the minute that we allow someone to normalize and make a standard practice these things that are just human additions, that's when we let them steal our victor's crown. And that's what he said yesterday. He also said, don't let anybody judge you um, about what you're doing in your own personal life, to observe a Sabbath or not observe a Sabbath, to observe certain dietary restrictions or not observe certain dietary restrictions. That's between you and God. Don't let anybody judge you about that, just like he said to the Romans in Romans 15. So he's going to intensify this thought about rejecting these human additions um, in verses 20 through 23. So let's read that. If you have died with Christ to the elementary principles of the world, why, as if you were living in the world, do you submit yourself to decrees such as don't handle that, don't taste that, don't touch that, all of which refer to things that are destined to perish with the using, in accordance with the commandments and teachings of men? These are matters which have, to be sure, the appearance of wisdom in self-made religion and self-abasement and severe treatment of the body, but are of no value against fleshly indulgence. This is so insightful psychologically. Let's just think about this. If you've died with Christ, you have died to the world. Therefore, you do not need to enslave yourself to the world again. Now, he'll say the same thing in Romans, but in Romans, he's talking to people who are sinning, who are being immoral. In Colossians, he's dealing with people who want to add on things, the way the Pharisees added on things to Judaism. These are mainly people coming from Greek philosophy, Greek and Roman philosophy, who are wanting to add on things to the scriptures. And he says, the people who tell you don't taste that, don't touch that, don't handle that, they're talking about earthly things that are going to perish. Your salvation doesn't depend on adding decrees to the pure gospel, to the simple gospel. These are human things. And he says they have the appearance of wisdom. There was a huge movement that started back in the late 60s, early 70s in the churches of Christ that basically established in congregations a pyramid of authority in which people answered directly to people who stood above them and who ordered them around in their lives. You can't have a friendship with this person. You can't have a friendship with that person. And it was a cult. I mean, I know a lot of people wince when they hear somebody say it was a cult, but it was, and those congregations continue to be because it's the very thing that's being described here. And the reasoning behind it was, people need help getting their lives in order, and people need structure, and yeah, that sounds good, but it's human and it's wrong. Absolutely wrong. These are matters which have, to be sure, the appearance of wisdom in self-made religion. This is depending on humans to do the work that the Holy Spirit himself is supposed to do inside us, which is to sanctify us, to make us clean. We don't have to come up with extra rules and regulations to do that. That's not our job anyway. Our job is to follow Jesus and let the Holy Spirit do his work. They are of no value against fleshly indulgence. They're a form of fleshly indulgence. My wife likes to say, um, taking Taking responsibility for everything is another way of making it about yourself. And that's true. And doing these things are ways of being self-centered. They really are. They're ways of saying, I have to do this myself. I'm the only one who can do it. I'm strong enough to do it myself. And we're not. We're not. What we are is dependent upon the Holy Spirit to sanctify us. What we need to be is yielding to the Holy Spirit and careful to follow in the footsteps of Jesus. What we don't need is to figure out our own additions to the path to make it better, because we can't, because we're people and we're flawed. And so our business is to know Jesus and to follow Jesus and to yield ourselves to the work of the Holy Spirit inside us who is sanctifying us. Okay, we're going to pick up with chapter 3, another if and another therefore. We'll look at that next time. Thank you for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word.